Luxcana from Luxury Gaming, and I'm here with
Dale Bellido.
And I heard that this is your fourth toss. That's amazing.
Yeah, fourth in a row, which is a little bit different, but yeah, been doing pretty good.
That is awesome. Congratulations. So what place did we get today?
Out in 32 again, so.
There's always Seattle to get out
Seattle.
of the top 32. So what deck did we play?
Green Steel.
Okay, let's see it.
So to start, it's obviously 4 Little Diablos for the 2s, 4 Morph, 4
So
Ursula.
now, question for the Diablos. Did you ever find that because you're only playing 4 1-drops that you're not seeing a turn 1 play?
Sometimes it happens, but
Okay.
I'll speak a little on where you catch up when you miss this.
Okay.
So you actually catch up on Morph.
The Morph?
So Morph lets you catch up on turn 3 or even turn 2. Well, most likely turn 3, where if Morph's on the field and you have Big Diablo, you can shift Diablo and play a 3 cost. So you can balance the board on that turn.
Ooh.
You can play. You can. In Yu-Gi-Oh terms, there's no special summoning in this game. That's a special summon. That's letting you special summon the same strength or the same ink cost on that turn. So
Okay.
Morph opens a lot for this deck.
So you would say turn 3 is like a pivotal point for you?
Turn 3 is the best turn for this deck. So there's a few people I'm sure there's tons of feature matches with Green Steel. You'll notice how impactful turn 3 is. So turn 3 is usually where you decide if the game is won. Not won, if how far away you're going to win with it.
Okay.
Okay. And then for the 3s, 4 Ursula, 4 Diablo. This is the best card in the game. Undoubtedly the best card. 4 Pete.
So now when are you playing Pete with Green Steel?
Sorry?
When are you going to play the Pete card with Green Steel?
Just before, the biggest problem was not being able to hit the be prepared with the Ursula because it's coming. This doesn't matter. Now you could safely play your Pete, quest with all your guys for lethal. Really sneaky lethal, and you can
Sneaky lethal.
and the other thing that people have discovered this now, but the answer to an opponent's Pete is your own Pete. So if they Pete you, you have to Pete them back, so you get the first action with actions. There's no counters, but that is the counter to that.
Okay. So you kind of always have to have a Pete in your hand just so that you can have that rebuttal.
Yeah. So like if you're Peting to win the game, that's fine. But if you're Peting to try and set up a song, if your opponent's trying to set up a song, maybe with an Ursula, you can Pete just so you have another opportunity to kill their Ursula, for example, before they can play anything.
Okay.
Okay. And then still on 3s, just 3 Prince John. The deck has a heavy uninkable problem.
How many uninkables are you
I
playing?
cut down, so I'm at 13, and even being at 13, it still feels like I can't get there. And sometimes I'll stop on 3 ink a lot. So, 2 Anna. Recently cut out the Lucifers for Anna. Just really versatile. Only 5 cards from Shimmering Skies in the new Green Steel build.
Okay.
4 Muses. This was a card that was completely not utilized in the green strategy outside of green-yellow. In Green Steel, this is the trump card in the control matchups. So in the Steel control matchup. So if you look in top 32 or top 64, the conversion rate for Green Steel, the amount of players that made it with Green Steel that converted into top 8, I believe there's 4, and there was only 8. So that means 50% of top cut was represented by Green Steel, and only 8 of them made top 32.
Oh, wow.
And the only reason some of the Green Steels lost is because they played each other. Like I got knocked out by a mirror match.
Okay.
Mirror match is fairly unforgiving because the power level of all these cards are so high. So you can only do so much. And then for the ship package, 4 Beasts and 3 Tinkerbell. So that's it for characters.
And you're shifting, like you're putting like the Tinkerbell and the Beast on the Morph?
On the Morph, yeah. I mean, you could hard summon it, but Tinkerbell's strength. So if you never really played in set 1, it was more relevant in set 1 and set 2. where people were playing the little Tinkerbell because there weren't that many cards. Her strength came out on the turn that she summoned and swung.
Okay.
You can't do that. Like, it's very easy to predict the Tinkerbell coming down. It's hard to predict, like, you can predict that it can come, but that's where the surprise was. That's where you caught people off. You shifted Tinkerbell and then you killed.
And then
yeah.
Wait, go ahead.
No.
So is this more of a control deck, or
it's a mid-range? Yeah, it's a control. It has discard options as well too. But moving on to...
Before we go on to the other ones, Robin Hoods? No Robin Hood?
No. So Robin Hood helps you in the control matchups. And it was more relevant when people were playing Zeus. So it could kind of stay alive from Zeus. And when you're against very good... Like, in my mind, I'm playing for top 64. So I'm playing at exposed deck list. A good player will almost never let a Robin Hood proc never get its effect.
okay?
Like, I'm sure you played games before and you're like, oh, I can make sure that Robin Hood doesn't draw. If the draw becomes impactful, I have no problem killing it. And like, if you have to answer Diablo, them drawing when
Off
they're
that Robin
challenging,
Hood draw.
it's not a big deal, right? So
You're still getting your hands.
yeah,
full.
Robin Hood shift line is okay versus aggro, but when you have steel cards and you have Ursula 3 lets you catch up on the board.
Okay.
And with muses, so for example, against hyper aggro, they like to commit a lot of small stuff to the board, but they're racing you really fast. An Ursula 3 summoned her on that turn, on 3, it's not going to get interrupted by anything. So on turn 4, if I summon muses and I sing a song, I can wipe 4 cards.
That's true.
So that's kind of that take. You don't need Robin Hood shift.
Okay.
For spells, or I guess actions and songs, this is standard package for green steel. 4 sudden chill.
The discard, yep.
The discard, the control cards, 4 strength, and 4 storm. Pretty standard synergy with almost every. There's so many Singer 3s. And then 4 Brunos.
I've seen a lot of 3 Brunos. Why 4?
Yeah, I think it's good. I like it. It's just an answer for everything, and you need as many good actions that are inkable for Diablo, or else you'll run out of discard for it. The problem is, like, if you don't have enough actions in discard, you're discarding your good cards just to shift Diablo.
True.
Yeah, you're discarding a storm or a chill that you might need, where it's okay to get rid of this. So the other 2 actions I'm playing, where my list is a little bit different than you're going to see from the decks that went a little bit deeper, is I'm only on 1 Hypnotize and I'm on 1 Smash. You'll see a lot of lists on 4 Hypnotize. Personally, I don't think it's great, and it's not a bad card, but you'll see people running 4 copies. It's expensive. The turn is expensive to use this. It's 3 ink. The tempo swing is okay, but it doesn't establish it. So, and Smash was here for the mirror. I expected a little bit of the mirror, and it's killing Ursula 3 and Diablo on a code. You have to answer those cards.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I wanted to make sure I could fight for the board, and then the last 2 cards were 2 hitting codes.
So now, why aren't you playing Grab Your Swords?
It's just, it doesn't do enough right now.
Okay.
Grab Your Swords is an expensive, uninkable.
Okay.
It's very expensive for what it does. I mean, it would be cool if you go Shift, Tinkerbell, and Swords. You can get away. You can deal 3 damage to everything, but there's not enough use. And being a 5-cost uninkable, or 5-cost uninkable, it's just gonna sit in your hand for in the mirror match. They're just gonna shoot it with an Ursula.
I see that, yeah.
Yeah, they'll sit. So.
Okay, well, thank you for showing us your deck, and it's max rated. I loved all of the enchanted.
Yeah.
Did you have any shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah, I have a lot. Like, the community is great. You guys are great. I come to you. I look for you guys at the event. I follow you on Twitter.
Thank you.
I make sure you come in. I make sure you like, so you know I'm here. Last time when I was on video, I had no social. I decided to hop onto Twitter.
I love it.
And I'm on Twitter now. But big shout outs to my team, my testing group. I'll name a few names that came with me. Lazaro, my brother, Irvin, Matt, Josh, Joe, Raph, Ryan, Andy, everyone in the group. Level 9000, Diego won, and Diego in the morning of yesterday did a tweet, said that he expects Green Seal to win, and he wanted Yellow Green to do well because he won in Toronto with Yellow Green, but said I think Green Steel is going to win, and piloted by the Green Steel Master. He refers to me as a Green Steel Master.
Ooh.
Only because I've been playing this deck since set 3. And I created the blueprint for how this deck's supposed to be played. Obviously with Bucky, everyone was playing the deck. It was easy to play.
Yeah.
Bucky was... I was going to play it. There's no way I'm going to play an easy deck.
Uh-huh.
I will play it. But everyone after Bucky was banned, or Bucky was errated, they kind of thought this deck was not good enough anymore. So in Toronto, I took
I was one of those.
Yeah. And it's very easy, right? Because the deck is very fragile. But I rebuilt the skeleton for Toronto. There was only two Green Steel decks to top in Toronto. One was a heavy, like an aggro type of build, not optimized because there was a lot of 1-ofs. But I had the skeleton for Morph package, shift line, excusing any other 1-drop outside of Diablo, because with Morph shift you're able to reestablish tempo on turn 3.
Okay.
Muses, no one was on Muses in Green Steel. Ursula, John, obviously, and shift line into Beast Tink. I was running Cinderella before, but there's just no impact. There's not enough impact in the current meta.
Okay.
And the same spell line. So if you notice from the Toronto list, it's probably the same 50 cards.
That's awesome. You're just putting some cards on the map.
Yeah, it's bringing them back.
Green Steel.
It's bringing them back. Again, I don't know if this is going to be a hot take, or if it's going to be wrong. Right now, top 8 is currently going, or maybe top 4. I don't know what it is, but I know 4 Green Steels are in top 8. I expect it to win this event. So we'll find out after.
We will see if you're
I'm not
right
going to say
or
who's
not.
going to win, but I do expect it to win this deck. That's why I played this.
Okay.
I don't intend to come with what I don't think has the best chance. Green Steel is, if you're looking for a deck that gives you information, free information.
The Diablos.
The Diablos.
Look at your hand.
Board control. So board control, what I talk about is like spell cards that can deal damage. So all the songs can answer the board.
Mm-hmm.
So I call that being able to not lose to random decks. Because a lot of times you can't answer the board with random decks, and you're like, oh, well, my deck has no answers for this. And then a draw engine. This card...
The Diablo.
Yeah, this deck is very... There's so many different draw engines.
The Beast.
There's Beast, there's Diablo, and there's Prince John.
Ooh, yeah, I forgot about Prince John.
There's so many. So if I told you, would you want to play a deck that gives you free advantage, free information, can deal with the early game and the mid game, can handle the board well, and has probably one of the best draw engines in the game? Would you want to play that? I would imagine that's
You're convincing me to play Green Steel.
That is everything you're looking for in a deck. Naturally, when you build the deck, I mean, I know the power level on certain decks are very high.
Yeah.
End game. This is very different from our first meeting, but the power level of other cards are strong. But if you can stop them, so my take in a tournament as well is, if I don't know what I'm up against, if I've never seen it before, I always have the option to discard their hand.
That's true.
So now it doesn't matter. Now it doesn't matter what your game plan is if I could stop it. So that's why I think Green Steel is the perfect metagame call. One of the best colors. It has so many tools, and it's going to be here for a long time. It should have never left, in all honesty. It should have never left. It was the best set 3 deck. Mm-hmm. Bucky, obviously, was the best card. Other than that, yeah, it's amazing.
No words for Green Steel. It's just awesome.
I don't want to take too much credit for Green Steel, but making the blueprint for this type of deck, knowing how to play the matchup. I do intend to release a guide.
Okay.
A guide, maybe I'll launch it on Twitter.
Why don't you give everybody your Twitter name?
I don't know what it is.
You don't know your own Twitter name?
So it's funny.
He's
I have
new,
a
he
Twitter.
said he's new.
I'm new. I'm a boomer. Okay, I think it's at Dale Bellido 1.
Dale Bellido 1.
So there's a regular Dale Bellido, and that's my
Don't follow
that's
that
my
one.
old one that I don't have a password to anymore. Just like my Facebook, I lost the password and I'm locked out. So I had to create this new one.
Okay. Make sure you guys follow him. Thank you again for doing this with us. Please like and subscribe.